Hi, everybody. All right, so we are here at the second part of our week 7, which also means we should be, right? If we're pacing ourselves correctly through our major project 2, we should be approaching near the end of our major project 2. Now, I do try to give you guys as much time as I possibly can. So you'll see in next week's folder that the presentation itself, right? So that's your recording, right, of the two of you, or however large your group is, together presenting. But then you also have the individual responsibility of uploading your slides, right? So there was a writing component to this that everyone had to do, and you had to create your own slides for that presentation. So I do grade your writing on an individual basis. And then, of course, we do the collaborative aspect of the grade, and that's going to be your togetherness with your presentation, and then of course that contract and any other kind of observations I was able to see through your guys working in the discussion or questions that were asked and so forth. All right, so basically everything is coming to that culminating end for our project. That'll be happening this weekend through early next week. All right, now one more little note about our project. That made the checkpoint. Sorry, the checkpoint number 2 should have made you realize that it was a bit more logistic, right? It was, when are you going to be recording together? Who's saving it? Who's going to be uploading it? That's one of those aspects of working with others that sometimes we forget. So I just wanted to help you guys out with that, making sure you guys are keeping not just your reading, your writing, and your communication organized, but also your logistics that has to happen in order to keep all that organized. I was trying to get you some help there. Okay, if your group has not completed their checkpoint 2, I need you in there. I need you completing that. It is for your own sake. So make sure you hop in and you get that done. Now, speaking of checkpoints, we do have a third checkpoint that is now available to you guys. Just like the others in this unit, though, yes, I have a deadline on that checkpoint 3, but I've also stated it's more of kind of that pacing deadline. If you don't literally hit that deadline when you submit it, I'm okay. All right, so that's okay. I'm just trying to help you pace your time so that nothing gets overwhelmed or procrastinates to the end. Basically, just trying to keep it a calm, big project. All right, well, everybody's finishing up this week. Everybody needs to get in and do that third checkpoint when they can. And then that turns us to next week. So I'm not going to go over next week right now anymore, except to say it is week 8, which means it's the last week of our semester. So that means we have kind of an odd schedule for next week. Be prepared. Our regular lessons and activities, they are to end on July 22nd. So I believe that is a Wednesday. I think that's next Wednesday. That's also when your project is due, trying to wrap all that up. But on the 23rd, we are required to take a final exam. After the 23rd, we're done. So our semester ends July 23rd. So that's next Thursday. And again, I want to stress we have up to Wednesday, the 22nd, to get our projects done and to wrap up our lessons, our activities for the semester. And then we have our final exam on the 23rd. All right, so your folders in our modules should already be showing that. It should show you that layout, but I just want to reiterate that to you because I don't want it to be a shock to anyone. All right, well, I always do finish up this second checkpoint because it is a very quick one. It's really just kind of to pop in, say hi, make sure things are still moving. But I always like to end on this, kind of bringing it back to our major project. With the collaborative aspect of this, I want to remind everyone that no one else can hurt your grade or make your grade for you, even though you were working together, right? If your written work is incomplete, doesn't meet the stated requirements and expectations, If your written work is, knocking it out of the park and amazing, right? Because it could go either way, right? The point is your writing is yours, and you are graded individually in that aspect. All right. So make sure that you are double checking your work for accuracy in terms of the requirements. Make sure you're double checking your thinking for accuracy in terms of the reading of the RFP and the expectations of the scenario that the RFP created. And make sure that you are following through, meaning you're not just throwing out some information, calling it good, and crossing your fingers, right? Own it. Make sure that before you submit it, you feel that you have done the best you can do in the time and with the resources that you had. All right, guys, if you have any questions, just like it always is, make sure that you send me a message. I will, of course, respond as soon as I can. But yeah, I'm going to let you guys work, and I'll check back in next week for our last official instructor message. All right, guys, bye.